Hello everyone, Erev Shabbat Shalom. So in this week's parasha, Moshe has a breakdown. It is the lowest emotional ebb of his entire career as a leader. And listen to his words to God. Why have you treated your servant so badly? Why have I found so little favor in your sight that you lay all the burden of the people upon me? Was it I who conceived all these people? Was it I who gave birth to them all, that you should say to me, carry them in your lap as a nursemaid carries a baby? I cannot bear all these people alone. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you treat me, kill me now. If I found any favor found in your sight, and let me not see my own misery. Numbers 11:15. The cause of his distress seems utterly disproportionate to its effect. The people have done what they often did before. They have complained. Many times Moshe have faces with this kind of complaint from the people before. There are several such instances in the book of Exodus, including one almost similar. On this earlier occasion, Moshe did not give expression to the kind of despair he speaks of here. Usually, when leaders face repeated challenges, they grow stronger each time. They learn how to respond, how to cope. They develop resilience, a thick skin. They formulate survival strategies. Why then does Moshe seem to do the opposite, not only here, but often through the book of Numbers? In the chapters that follow, Moshe seems to lack the unshakable determination he had in Exodus. At times, as in the episode of the spies, he seems surprisingly passive, leaving it to others to fight the battle. At others, he seems to lose control and become angry, something a leader should not do. Something has changed, but what? Why the breakdown, the burnout? Adaptive challenges are a bit different. There are different types of challenges, and one of these is adaptive challenges. Okay? These adaptive challenges, they arise when we are part of the problem. It means you are ill, you go to the doctor, and he tells you, I can give you a pill. But the truth is that you have to do the work and change your lifestyle. You are overweight, out of condition, you sleep too little, and exposed to many stress. Pills won't help you until you change the way you live. Adaptive leadership is called for when the world is changing. Circumstances are no longer what they were, and what once worked works no more. There is no quick fix for such things, no miracle pill, no simple following the instruction. We have to change. What's more, the leader cannot do the work for me. Yeah, he must inspire, but we have to follow through. We have to do the work. The fundamental differences between the books of Exodus and Numbers is that in Exodus, Moshe is called on to exercise technical leadership. Yeah, the Israelites are enslaved. God sends signs and wonders, 10 plagues, and the Israelites go free. They need to escape from Paro. Moshe lift his staff and God divides the sea. They're hungry, God sends manna from heaven. Thirsty, God sends water from a rock. When they have a problem, the leader, Moshe, together with God, provides the solution. The people do not have to exert themselves at all. In the book of Numbers, however, the situation has changed. The Israelites have completed the first part of their journey. They have left Egypt, reached Sinai, and made a covenant with God. Now they are on their way into the promised land. Moshe's role now is different. Instead of providing technical leadership, he has to provide adaptive leadership. He has to get the people to change, to accept his responsibility to learn to do things from themselves while trusting in God instead of relying on God to do things for them. That's why even in this generation, we have people that are so dependent upon others, upon their leaders, upon their rabbis, and poor, that they don't manage to survive in the real world. And who makes this break? Only the generation after. It is precisely because Moshe understands this that he's so devastated when he sees that the people haven't changed at all. They're still complaining about the food, almost exactly as they did before the revelation at Mount Sinai, before they covenant with God, before they themselves had built the sanctuary, their first creative endeavor together. He has to teach them to adapt, but he seems, rightly as it transpires, that they are simply unable to change their pattern of response, the result of years of slavery. How can you change people who were slaves for 200 of years? Yeah, they are passive and overly dependent. They have lost the capacity for self-motivation action. As we eventually discover, it will take a new generation born in freedom to develop the strengths needed for self-governance, which is the precondition of freedom. Adaptive leadership is intensely difficult. People resist change. They erect barriers against it. One is denial. A second is anger. A third is blame. That is why adaptive leadership is emotionally draining in the extreme. Moshe, with the insight of the greatest of the prophets, intuitively sees all this, hence his despair and his wish to die. It is far easier to be a technical leader than an adaptive one. It's easy to live in the hands of God, yeah? It's hard to realize that God is calling us to responsibility, to become His partners in the work of redemption. Of course, the Torah does not leave it there. In Judaism, despair never has the last word. God comforts Moshe, tells him to recruit 70 elders to share the burden of leadership with him, and gives him the strength to carry on. That's why when a leader feels that he cannot do it and he's burned out, he needs to ask for help. And that's not a bad thing. That's not failing. That's what Hashem tells us to do. Ask for help. Adaptive leadership is, for Judaism, the highest form of leadership. That is what the prophets did. Without relieving the people of their responsibility, they gave them a vision and a hope. They spoke difficult challenges truth. And they did so with a passion that still has the power to inspire the better angels of our natures. But with devastating honesty, never more so than in its account of Moshe's temporary breakdown, the Torah tells us that adaptive leadership is not easy, and that those who exercise it will face anger and criticism. They may come to feel that they have failed, but they have not. Moshe remains the greatest leader the Jewish people has ever known, the man who almost single-handedly shaped the Israelites into a nation that never gave up or gave way to despair. Nowhere in the difficulty of adaptive leadership more simply summarized than in God's words to Moshe's successor Yeshua. Be strong and courageous, for you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. But you must be strong and very courageous indeed to faithfully uphold all the Torah that Moshe my servant commanded you. The first sentence speaks about military leadership. Yeshua was to lead the people in their conquest of the land. The second verse speaks about spiritual leadership. Yeshua was to ensure that he and the people kept faith with the covenant they had made with God. The first, says the verse, demands courage, but the second demands exceptional courage. Change always does. To change is not easy, it's hard, and for people, that is the hardest thing to do. And usually they blame the leader, yeah? And a real leader should know that and shouldn't give up and break down and always ask for help. To fight an enemy is hard. To fight with yourself, harder still. To help people find the strength to change, that is the highest leadership challenge of all. Shabbat Shalom.